Okay, we're back algebra students, and we're still working on one-step equations. Now, first two we did. Our first two problems dealt with addition and subtraction mostly. Mostly subtraction, I think, was most of them, but that's okay. Now we're going to do some multiplication and division. Now, one of the important things to understand here is that where it says 15x here, it says 15x, that's really 15 times x. For whatever reason, someone made a rule where it says if there's nothing between two numbers, it's multiplication. We have to remember that. It's called a coefficient. This thing here is called a coefficient. Important word to remember. But it's basically a number multiplied by a variable. That's what a coefficient is. A number that's multiplied by a variable. We could see 15x squared is another one, right? Or 15y, 15z, I don't know, 15a. All these, they're always this number, which you don't know, the unknown, your variable, times that 15. So in this case, it's always 15, but it could be any number in front of them. So since it's multiplication, the opposite of multiplication, we're going to do this. Again, cut it in half. I'm going to look at this side and say, what's keeping the x from being by itself? Well, it's being bugged by that 15. So it's 15 times x, so I got to do the opposite. I'm going to divide. Divide this side by that. 15 times 15 divided by 15. If you put that in the calculator, let's see what happens. That's a very interesting idea. Where did I put my calculator? Yeah. So, very interesting thing happens. Besides me losing the calculator. When I take 15 and I divide it by 15, I get a number, 1. Now, x times 1 is still x. That doesn't do anything. So this 15 divided by 15 just becomes 1. Otherwise, x. And I have my equal sign. I'm almost done. Now, over here, I got to do the same thing. Now, this is not going to equal 1. It's going to be something different, but we can figure that out. What I'm going to do here? Well, I'm going to say, what's 10 divided by 15? 0.6667. Now, I don't want to leave that number. I'm going to look at 10 divided by 15. And I'm going to ask myself this question. Which number goes into both 10 and 15? 5. So if I divide both of these by 5, or 1, anything divided by 1 is itself. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So x is 2/3. Not always that bad. A lot of times it works out being whole numbers. But I just want to give you a tricky one there to see that it could be a fraction. Don't think you're wrong because you got a fraction. Next one. 19 equals r divided by 3. I could rewrite it by like this. R over 3. R divided by 3. Now, opposite of what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line. I have to get r by itself. And the problem that's getting me here is it's divided by 3. Opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply this by 3. Now 3 times 1 over 3, or divided by 3, is just 1. So it gets rid of those 3's. They go away. I get r. Now r is by itself. But since I multiplied by 3 here, I have to multiply by 3 here. Times 3 here. So that's just 19 times 3. Again, calculator work. 57. So I hope you see with these problems, it's a lot of calculator work. And just remembering a couple of simple rules and we get by. Now the challenge question. The one I'm going to really be tricky with is this. My question is this multiplication or division. Is it x times 3/4 Or is it 3x divided by 4? I'm going to say it's both. Okay? So what happens is I can write it this way, or I can write it over here. I'm going to write it this way. I'll show you how both sides work out. This is going to be 2 steps. This is going to be 1 step. Okay? The trick to know is if you have your x and it's multiplied by a fraction, you multiply it by its reciprocal. Now, why would I do that? I've got to get the x by itself, right? So I got to get rid of 3/4. So if I multiply any number 3/4 by its reciprocal, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 4, 12. 12 divided by 12 is just 1. Like up here, I just wanted 1. So x will be by itself. But now, I have to go over here and multiply 12 by 4/3. So I'm multiplying it times 4/3. 12 times 4/3. So how do I do that? So I just put it in here like this. 12 over 1 times 4/3. 12 times 4 is 48. Divided by 1 times 3 is 3. And that will give you 48 divided by 3. I know there's an answer here somewhere. 16. So the answer is 16. X equals 16. A little bit more trickiness, but it kind of makes this a 1-step equation. Especially if you can put this in the calculator. And all I would have had to do then, I didn't want to show you the math. I could have just done 12 times 4 divided by 3. 16. Okay, another way to do it. I can look at it as 2 problems. Okay? So, problem 2 is this. I see division and multiplication. First thing, well, when I see this, it's going to be a little messy because I kind of cut it off weird. I'm going to say, well, there's 2 numbers in front of this x. It's really bugging x, right? It's got to get rid of 2 numbers. The 4 here in the division is blocking me from doing that 3x. Okay, so I'm going to take care of that first. Multiply it by 4. Opposite addition is multiplication, so I'm multiplying both sides by 4. Bring down my equal signs. 4 times 12, 48. These, 4 divided by 4 is just 1, and now I have 3x. 3x equals 48 does not look so bad. The opposite, what's going on between the 3 and x? It's multiplication. So I have to do the opposite, which is division. Get rid of those. 48 divided by 3 is 16. There you go. Just a different way to get to the same thing. Which way you want to go is up to you. This is the fast way. This is the way I'd rather go. But you got to remember to do the reciprocal, because that's the key to the whole problem. This right here. Put in a green to let you know. So if you're going to do it, make sure you remember the reciprocal. Important word. All right, guys. Have a good one. I will see you tomorrow. Good job.